clean cuts and still cuts a tomato.
While Sada may be the only hero that can cut a tomato, all of the other heroes are pretty cool too, so today we're going to be checking out every single hero and deciding which hero is best for you. Along with that, we're also going to be seeing which hero you should buy next. Now, to start off on a bit of a side tangent, all of these heroes cost a lot of money and there are a lot of them, so if you're looking to get some more monkey money, I have a guide right here. The link will be in the description on how to get easy monkey money. Now, the second thing I quickly want to mention is that this is the second episode of a 6-part series on how to get every single black border. It's a complete and comprehensive guide. If you want to see the first episode, which I highly recommend seeing if you haven't seen it, it will be in the first pinned comment along with all of the other ones. But if you're here just to see this hero guide, which is a bit of a sidetrack from the other episodes of the series, you're welcome to do so. So first, I'm going to start off by saying there is no best hero. All of the heroes are going to be different for other people, and for one person, Pat may be better than Sai, but for another player, Sai might be better than Pat. It depends what your goals are and what you like doing. Some things that could change what hero you like is what skill level you are, what towers you use, what type of map you're playing, and what you have fun with. So that is all very important, and today I'm going to be giving you a brief description of every single hero. I'm not going to be going into detail on every single hero, but it's just a description to see what you would like. And now, because this is a series on Chimps, it's not going to have a focus on bosses or races, but it's very similar to general and casual gameplay because that's kind of what Chimps is like, so it will work for that too. Just keep that in mind. So let's get right into what hero is best for you and what hero you should buy. The first thing that I'm going to start off is with a bit of an exception, and that is DJ Ben. He's an exception because he is not good for Chimps. He is a moneymaker and specifically does that only. Because Ben is used for only making money, he's very good in casual gameplay and bosses, which is why I do actually recommend using him, but he doesn't make money in Chimps mode. So when it comes to Chimps mode, even though he can be used for some pretty quirky things, he is not an effective strategy. But overall, I do recommend buying him for a lot of players if they would like to use a casual game to use Ben, but in Chimps, just don't use Ben. It's not that good, no matter what people say. So we're going to start off by looking at the 4 free heroes, and then I'm going to go for the paid heroes, just to see if you might be wanting to continue using these 4 free heroes. Our first hero is Quincy. He has very casual gameplay, he's very versatile, and he has a very low skill level. You're going to start by seeing Quincy doing pretty well and working with anything. He has good abilities and he does pretty decent damage, and when you buff him up too, he does a lot of damage, but he needs a lot of money to do this in the late game. Other than that, he works out pretty well with the early game and can be used on pretty much any map because he has good range and he can start out really well. And for a lot of beginners, he's going to be a great option because he is just so cheap. Quincy doesn't support any monkeys yet. I'm waiting for them to make it so he can buff crossbows, but I guess that could be a good thing for a lot of people because he makes them just easy. If you like casual gameplay, non-meta strategy, and a good early game helper, Quincy might just be the hero for you. The second hero that we're going to be looking at is Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn is very versatile support, has medium skill level, and has pretty interesting gameplay. Along with this, Gwendolyn is also just pretty cool. The neat thing about Gwendolyn is that although she can take more skill to use her abilities properly, she also works very well in just casual settings. She has some great synergies and works really well with fire towers like the Inferno Ring and the Dragon's Breath, for example, but can also work with a lot of other towers because she has great support in general, especially in her later levels. Her support also does some pretty cool things like giving the towers extra damage to DDTs, which is really nice. So if you hate DDTs, this might be pretty cool. So overall, if you like medium to easy skill level, fire strategies, and unique support, Gwendolyn might be the hero for you. The third one is going to be Striker Jones, and he loves bombs. He has a medium skill level and focus strategies. You need a medium skill level just because you need to know how some of these specific strategies work in order to use him correctly, such as an assassin spam with primary expertise. He also works well with the bombs and mortars, but this is pretty much the only thing he can be used for. And he works well on maps that any of these strategies would work for. Because of this, he's confined to the bombs and mortars, so a lot of people don't really like him. But if you like a focused strategy, medium skill level, and a lot of explosions, you're going to be liking Striker Jones. Our last free hero is Oben, and he is the Druid Enjoyer. He's like Striker Jones in that he's tied to the strategies, but this time he's tied to Druid strategies. The most famous of which you're going to be seeing is Avatar, Wrath, and Spirit of the Force. These strategies are very, very strong, but because he is limited in strategies, he is not very popular with some of the better players, and these strategies don't really perform that well on harder maps. There are some quirky strategies that you can do, but these generally aren't that good for black borders in general, so you're not going to be seeing him used much on many of the harder maps. So if you like Druid's casual gameplay and easy early game, you're probably going to like Oben. The next hero we're going to look at is now some of the paid heroes, and this is Sauda. Let's check out what Dorios has to say about Sauda.
Hey guys, it's me, Dorio. I'm back, and today I'll be quickly explaining Sauda for you guys. Sauda is a pretty strong melee hero who costs 650, meaning you can start out with her in a game, and she does pretty good in the early game. There are two main ways of using Sauda, however. You can use her as a set and forget hero, where you just place her and forget about her. Very simple, so I'm not going to be explaining that. Or you can use her as a strong DPS hero, which is the thing I will be explaining. Sauda does very well as a DPS hero because she has massive damage bonuses for balloons that are stunned, slowed, or have a damage over time effect on them. These are all very easy to get using just Relentless Glue and Dragon's Breath, which are two very common towers anyway. Both of her abilities are also incredibly useful as they benefit a ton from those damage bonuses that I mentioned before. Leaping Sword is better used to take down larger layers, and Sword Charge is better as a cleanup ability. Sauda's main weakness is her very short range, so she needs to be placed on a corner, bend, or loop to be used most effectively. She also really struggles against Moabs until she gets her damage bonuses, so be sure to keep out for that. What I'm saying here is just a really condensed version of what I said in my How to Use Sauda Effectively video, so if you really want to know how to use Sauda properly in much more detail, then go watch that. If you'd like to use Sauda as a set and forget hero, she has arguably the easiest skill level out of any hero, has a great early game, and will do a little bit late game. But if you'd like to use her as a strong damage hero, she has a medium to high skill level, still a very strong early game, and does incredible damage late game. Anyways, goodbye.
Alright, thanks. Now let's look at Etienne. Etienne has a low skill level. You're going to be asking what camos are because with her they don't exist, and is pretty ability oriented. The big thing about Etienne is that when you get him to level 8, you're just going to have everybody seeing camo with no exceptions. Free camo for everyone. This is pretty nice, but Etienne is a little bit weak in the early game, and if you want to get some power later on, you're going to have to use the abilities, which are pretty strong abilities. Now, Etienne in the later game is pretty neat with a perma UCAV and is great for all maps because his abilities go everywhere. To round it off, Etienne can be very nice for some players. If you like free camo, powerful abilities, and chill gameplay, Etienne just might be the right hero for you. Next hero we're going to be looking at is Churchill. Churchill has medium skill level, strong damage, and stays strong throughout the game. He is quite a powerful tank. He's great on a lot of maps and with a lot of strategies because he has strong hero damage and can just fit in with a lot of things that need extra damage. The only downfall to him is that he only works well on maps with straights. So this map, for example, Polymephis, is not a good example. He's going to also work well with a lot of different combinations because his strong abilities can counter a lot of things, but unfortunately he's a little expensive to start with. Other than that, he's pretty cool, and if you like strong, consistent damage, satisfying balloon destruction, and strategies that are easy to put into, Churchill would be for you. The next hero we're going to be looking at is Pat Fusty, and we're going to give it over to Dorios this time too. Hello.
Hey guys, it's me, Dorio, and I'm back. I'll be explaining Pat for you guys very quickly. So basically, Pat is a hero that costs 865 money dollars thingies, and you can place him on land and water. His level 3 ability is generally considered very, very strong as it synergizes with basically every single fast attacking, high projectile, low damage per projectile tower. So towers like the Sun Avatar, the Tack Zone, the Super Maelstrom, Sentry Champion, and plenty more. At higher levels, he gains the ability to stun Moabs with his main attack, and this helps a ton as it just makes his synergies even better and is incredibly overpowered with an overclock, which is personally one of my favorite strategies. His level 10 ability should be mostly avoided because it stops his stuns, and you want those stuns more than killing one Moab. Pat only really has one main weakness, and that is his very short range, and this can significantly restrict his usage to very select maps. So overall, if you like a medium skill level hero, great support with damage buffs and stuns, and you like Fat Monkey, then Pat is probably the best hero for you. Anyway, goodbye.
Alright, thanks Dorios again. The next hero we're going to be looking at is Sai. Sai is medium skill level, a cleanup carry, and destroys hard maps, especially on Chimps. So Sai is a great cleanup tower that takes some skill to use. Sai also has some pretty awesome strategies such as Energizer and getting Sai to level 20. This allows Sai to really destroy anything besides a bad, which is pretty darn cool. Sai also works with a lot of general damage towers and cleaning up, especially if the towers have great mob damage. Unfortunately, Sai is weaker on beginner and intermediate maps because you won't get the XP for the good levels in time. On harder maps, and especially in the late game, Sai is very strong. But Sai is also pretty good early game too. If you like great cleanup, strong strategies, and strategies on harder maps, Sai would be perfect for you. Next hero we're going to be looking at is Adora. Adora is medium to high skill level, has unique gameplay, and is super strong at level 20. Now, the thing about Sai is that Sai is great on most maps, and you can really build into her well, and she has strong early and strong late games. She works on all of these maps because she has great global range abilities that go in through walls and has a unique sacrifice that allows her to get good levels quick. And she has some great strategies with Sun Avatar where she actually buffs when you use the blood sacrifice with her. Sada is extremely powerful when max level, but getting her to that degree and getting the right towers with her takes a little bit more skill to use. But if you like using Sun Avatar's unique hero mechanics and some cool gameplay, Adora might be right for you. The next one's going to be Brickle. Brickle is low to high skill level and buffs water towers, which could be boat and sub strategies. This is a very cool hero and one that I like using particularly. Because she buffs water towers, you're going to be buffing some extremely strong towers, and there are a ton of very great strategies that you can use with her. Because of this buff, she can be very good in every single part of the game. But unfortunately, she only works well on water maps. And she also has an extremely high skill cap and also can be used very casually, which is really nice. For example, I used Brickle to beat the world record on least cost Chimps Ouch once. It was now broken by a smart person, but I beat this map on Chimps with over 100,000 cash spare using some pretty advanced Brickle strategies. But you don't have to be advanced like this because she works very well when you're using her casually too. She also has some great sub strategies that you might want to check out if you like subs too. So overall, if you like water towers, wide skill range, and great abilities, Brickle would be a perfect hero for you. The next hero we're going to be looking at is Azili. Azili is medium to high skill level, buffs necromancers, and destroys ZOMGs. Now, Azili is one that not a lot of people like to use, and I get that because she has some flaws. She's not limited to maps, so you can use her pretty much everywhere, but she works great with Prince of Darkness. Unfortunately, Azili is not really known for being the best. While she does take out some ZOMGs really well, her early game is quite a struggle. You can just look at it. And she also is pretty hard to use because if you want to use her to her max capabilities, you're going to need to be very good at timing these abilities in order to take out waves of ZOMGs. But if you can pull that off, you're going to be rewarded with very cool gameplay, taking out tons of ZOMGs, great strategies with the Prince of Darkness, and it can even knock out round 100 too. This is a pretty cool tower that not a lot of people use right or use in general, but if you like to use the necromancers, you hate ZOMGs and bads, and want to use a challenging hero, Azili would be a really cool option for you. The next hero is going to be Geraldo. Geraldo is a medium to high skill level hero, has a wide range of buffs, and has some extremely strong strategies. Geraldo is clearly the most versatile hero. You can get down anything from this very unique shop that will help you in critical moments in a game of Chimps. And you can use any of these things anywhere and just use Geraldo himself anywhere with everything. Now, the crazy thing about Geraldo is not really the damage that he does. It's pretty mediocre. Some of his abilities are better than others, but he has some crazy support capabilities, like giving sharp stones or the Geraldo cape strategies. He also has some extremely unique strategies that you can only use with Geraldo, such as this cramming Sun Avatar Worn Hero cape strategy that I'm showing you right now. And on top of this, he takes a little bit of focus and skill to use too. But when you use him right, he is very, very strong. So if you like extreme versatility, strong strategies, and a focused hero, Geraldo would be the perfect hero for you. And because Geraldo is a bit complicated to use, I made a video with Chom that shows you how to use every single item. The link for that will be in the description if you want to check it out later. The last hero we're going to be looking at is Corvus. Corvus has an insanely high skill cap, very, very hard to use, but has insane power and is extremely micro-intensive. From the start, he might not look that good, but if you look at his spellbook, you're going to be in for something else. A lot of people will look at this and say, what the hell does that mean? And I totally understand that, because that's what I thought first. But when you learn how to use him, he can be extremely, extremely strong. That right here is a footage of him being stupidly strong. This is a game I did, and it's beating Cornfield Chimps with 154,000 cash spare, which if you know anything about this game, there is no way that should happen. And this is because he's a bit of a new hero, and Ninja Kiwi did not really test him right. And no updates have came out since then, so he's probably going to get nerfed pretty soon, or by the time that you've seen this video, he's already nerfed. Because of this, I don't really know how to describe this guy to you, because he's extremely hard to use, extremely micro-intensive, and probably going to get nerfed soon. But if you want to try this guy out, you can buy him for 7,000 monkey money. He's quite the challenge if you like it. But if you like the extreme micro-insane power and lots of focus, give Corvus a try. And if you want to go even further and learn exactly how he works, I made another video with H-Bomb that explains every single spell and how to use Corvus properly. So that's all the heroes. Now that we went over every hero, I want you to leave a comment and tell me what hero you're using and why you're using. All the heroes are pretty cool, and I definitely also want to encourage you to maybe try some new heroes and try some different heroes instead of sticking to the same one. The How to Black Border Every Single Map series will have all the information in the pinned comment if you want to check that out, which I highly recommend. And if you like this series, I think you should leave a like and subscribe to tell me that it was a pretty cool series, or just this episode on which hero you should pick in general. I'm really excited for the rest of this series. It's going to be pretty cool. The later episodes are going to be pretty awesome, and I think they're really going to tell you some good strategy. So that's all. You can join my Discord if you want, or you could click on one of these videos to see some pretty funky strategies, or look at the rest of the series. That's all, and goodbye.